Okay, so what's up, guys? I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, I think you can hear me. Um, so this is my first video with my voice, so bear with me. I'm not a fluent English speaker, um, but I will try to explain my framework to you. So here I have index HTML, which is empty right now, and we'll start with HTML5 and add our Juris. So from npm, just search for Juris and you can find the package there. So for now, we'll get the script tag. Okay. So find it or add it somewhere. And let's try to render this in using show view. Okay. So, and then let's try to minimize. Okay. So here we say we add the div with app ID. So this is later on will render our application. So today we'll be creating a simple counter app. Then the probably the most minimum, the shortest counter app possible that you can build using any framework. Okay. Script. This is where we write our application. So developer needs to create instance manually. So unlike in React, you don't need to create instance of React because the React or the compiler is doing it for you. So let's start here with cons juris equals new juris. Okay, and then probably let's try to render right away. Okay. As you can see, you're not seeing anything because we haven't defined any layout or component as well. Okay. But before that, let's add states with the S. And then in state, we add count with default value. Okay. I forgot to open the bracket. Okay. And then here we say we add the layout. Juris layout equals. So layout is object or accept bdom object. So here we say dev with text. And initially we'll just render hello world. Okay. So you can see we are seeing hello world, but later on we'll change that to counter up. Okay, so let's start with let's change this. Okay, let's add the children static for now. Actually, for this demo, we don't really need the children dynamic children. So for those who are already familiar with Juris, okay, so not all children can be static and dynamic depending on the reactivity requirements you have. Basically, if you're rendering list, that is where you want the children to be reactive, and especially if that list depends on reactive state. Okay, so to continue, so we'll say I will use h2 with text and you say counter up. Okay, all right, and then we say here span. This is where we will be displaying our count, and since we will be displaying this with the current count, it should be reactive. So to define reactive, you need to convert this to function attribute. Okay, so you notice, all right, let's step back a bit. We need to add the single quote on every objects. Okay, and then here, let's try. Okay, let's make it beautiful. All right. So text. This is static. Okay. So notice the color of static. Static, right? This is static. Depending on your um, theme or what do you call this? Yeah, theme installed or active theme. It can actually differs on the colors, but here I will just example ID. Probably I will just make this reactive. Okay. So you notice here the reactive ID or function attributes are marked differently compared to the static attributes. Okay. So for now, ID is not the requirements of this counter up. So we'll just focus on get our juris, get state, then count. Okay. So you notice the count is already there. Okay. All right. So let's make this as computed value. All right. So unlike other frameworks like Vue, you need to use computed, but in Juris you can directly use JavaScript conventions. Counter, and then you say here that's already computed. Okay. Or say we can add 1, then you have 1 already. That's computed, right? And here we can add already the button that maybe you guys are already waiting. Button with the text. Can you guess what text I want to add? And then, okay, increment. Okay, that's basic, right? And then you say here on click. Then we have here the function. All right. So we get the value of count. So we'll just copy this. Count equals Juris count. Stick count, and then Juris set state count. And then count plus 1. Will it work? Let's find out. Oh, it's working. Ah, nice. Okay. In Juris, you can also skip defining states, okay, by using default value. Okay, so we set the default value here, and we remove the states, and still we have the value increment. Okay. All right, so another one is, let's say if I'm going to hide get count. Okay, I want to hide this deep. So function func a return func b, and we have here the function func b, which is the value that calls return. Okay, so what happened here? So we will call the func b here. Okay, so we call func a and call func b, and Juris is still able to detect that you are dependent on count or function a. Okay, let's try. Oh, it's still able to detect. All right, so no matter how you hide your get state, probably 1,000 functions deep, Juris is still able to find that dependency. So this is currently not possible in any framework. So yeah, so if you want to learn Juris, you have to familiarize yourself on the behavior, because I must say this is the most sophisticated state management right now that you can ever have. So let's explain how the what we have here. So unlike any other framework, you don't have any use effect or create effects and other subscription systems. Okay, you don't define in view. You use ref or use ref. Okay, so in Juris, you just straight away get state, because get state is the one providing or having a path that defines the exact location of your variable or global variable. Okay, and Juris, when encountering the reactive attributes, it will assume that you're calling get state somewhere. Okay, so before calling this function, Juris will prepare a sophisticated tracking system for before calling, and then when Juris actually execute the function attribute, it will automatically detect that the count was accessed by this function. So it will create a subscription for text attribute or text node for that specific state, okay, or specific path. All right, so that's why we're getting this reactivity, even though the get state are being hidden deep inside multiple stack or function calls. All right, and so let's try to use this function a as well. Do you think it'll still work? It will work, right? Yeah, it's still working. And we can also use this right away here and still work. Okay, and yeah, I think this that's all for a short introduction of Juris reactivity and basic layout. All right, um, so for me, um, as a developer, I really love working with Juris because I'm more focused on what I'm seeing, and especially if you're working on large applications with a lot of business logic. So when I create application using Juris, I'm actually just looking at the DOM. Um, Mostly I'm working on DOM attributes because that is where the children's or the list are being rendered. Okay, or or the or the values are being computed. You don't So if you use a Juris, you don't have to switch back and forth. Looking at the the functions that provides data or computes data, then go back to your DOM on how the DOM renders it. So that's the beauty of co-location, they call it. And I call it co-location as well. Right? So that's all for this counter app. That's all for now. So if you're new to Juris and new to this channel, please subscribe as I'll be sharing more um, valuable tips as a Juris author. Currently, I have um, all the necessary information that I can share about Juris that you cannot find in any other channels because, yeah, there's no channels covering this framework right now. So, yeah, that's all for now. Bye.